I'm Ada. Today we're going to be talking about some of my favorite easy care houseplants that we sell here at Volante Farms. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Maranta, which is this one right here. It has some nice fun coloring on the leaves. And this plant prefers pretty much any kind of light that you give it will be fine except for direct light. So your low to bright indirect light is all going to be good. You want to make sure to keep this one a little bit more moist, so don't let the soil dry out too much. However, you do want to water it as it gets to dry out a little bit. They prefer good humidity, so if you don't have a lot of humidity in your home, you'll want to either have a humidifier going or have a tray of pebbles with some water in it to get some humidity in the air for them. And one fun thing about this, they're also called the prayer plant because at night their leaves fold up to look like they're praying. Our next plant that we're going to talk about is the peace lily, which is this one right here, also known as the Spathiphyllum. They also can tolerate pretty much any end of the spectrum of light except for the direct light. One thing to note with that though is that the more light that they get, the more flowers that they're going to produce. So if that's important to you, make sure it's in the spot where it's getting plenty of bright indirect light. These also like to stay a little bit more moist, and one thing that's really nice about these is when they are thirsty, they will dramatically wilt. Don't worry, they'll pop right back up after you give them some water. They're very easy care. Another thing to note though, they do need a lot of that humidity, so again, either have a humidifier or some rock trays or any of that. Our next plant that we're going to talk about is the snake plant, or the Sansevieria. I have a couple ones here, this really large one, this medium-sized one, and the small one. These also are pretty happy with whatever light you throw at them. However, they are going to do their best in that bright indirect light. They're going to grow the fastest during that time. But again, they don't really care whatever light you give them. Again, with these, you want to make sure not to overwater them. In fact, these can almost be best if you only water them once a month or so, as they really prefer to be more on the dry side. One thing about these is they actually like to be a little bit root bound. So you don't want to repot these very often, as you want to give them a chance to build up that root ball within the pot. Our next plant that we're going to talk about is the jade plant, which is this one right down here. These ones are really fun, and they are a more succulent variety here. They prefer more light than any of the others. The more light you can give them, the better off they're going to be. Most succulents are that way, so that's a good way to kind of keep that in mind. Another thing with succulents is they don't need a lot of water, and it's the same for these. So you want to make sure to only water these when the top 2 inches of soil are dry. And a fun thing about these is they can last for a very long time. You could even pass these down from generation to generation because they can last that long. So I hope that you've enjoyed learning about some of my favorite easy care plants that we have here at the farm. We'll see you next time.